Number one, the density contributes to that. I think, secondly, a lot of our residents don't work. I think our residents become victims of people wanting to do illegal activities because historically there hasn't been as much focus on low-income areas. I think if you look out in rural Buncombe County and you take the same income group and you take the same density, I think you'll see a higher crime rate than you would in surrounding areas. Low-income people, there's a challenge. African Americans have been isolated and mistreated in this society for a long time. We all know that. I mean, we have been ostracized in many ways. And I think to try to make sure that we tell our young people and our residents that we want a safe place for them to live has to be a trust factor. But there's more to our incident than just the arrival of people, first public housing built in 1950. There's a lot of history beyond that, from Jim Crow all the way back, that our residents will react differently than other people. I mean, I'm an African American and I react differently than my white counterparts because my life experience has been different. And we too easily dismiss that it doesn't have value, but it has significant value in the way we react, in the way we treat situations and how we treat situations.
How do we shift the focus to maybe putting more of a spotlight or focusing more on dealing with the issues of low income here in the city so that we can wipe out some of this crime?
People have to genuinely care. And talking about it and having sympathy is not the answer. People have to be empathetic to people who have less, to people who are not a part of the norms of society. And that prevails no matter where it is, no matter what the situation is. It's really difficult to be an African American in a society that views you as being less. And that spills over. I mean, there's an element of hopelessness. If the poverty in your family is 3 and 4 generations, and you want that individual to have the same hope as someone who's had 4 generations of people educated, 4 generations of some moderate wealth, it's not the same. And we have purposely not talked about it because we don't know what to do about it.
So how do we get the city talking about this? How do we change it?
Well, I think the city is looking at that with some of the diversity managers they're going to have. The county just made a significant investment into the African American communities with the $500,000 over the 3 years. So it's obvious that the activities of low wealth people is a concern with the city and the county. So, I mean, I'm reasonably optimistic, but it's not going to change overnight. It just can't because it didn't happen overnight. It happened over a long period of time. And I think if you don't read history, if you don't read how we got here and don't look at it for what it is versus what you think it is, you have to be able to understand that when people are disenfranchised and people don't have hope, it's very difficult for them to keep thinking this American dream, this promise. I mean, I was very fortunate to grow up in an environment where people were educated. I never thought that I wasn't going to go to college. I never thought that I wasn't going to be a manager of some organization. But that's because my dad, my grandfather, my mom, I mean, we were all doing that when I was 7 or 8 years old. And I just think we too easily discount people because they're not like us or because they don't act like us, when in fact the reason they don't is because we put them in that situation.